This is sautéed chicken breast, seasoned with thyme and finished with a small sauce that we made by deglazing the pan. At the end of today's session of the Complete Home Cook, you're going to know how to make this magnificent dish.
Hi, I'm David Beck, and this is the Complete Home Cook. Today we're going to prepare the most basic of dishes. We're going to saute chicken breast, which we've seasoned with some salt, pepper, and thyme. I've chosen this dish for a couple of reasons. First, I want to illustrate that even a relatively simple dish such as this is absolutely delicious. And secondly, the technique that we're going to use today, sautéing, in this case chicken breast, is appropriate for any of the tender cuts of protein. So watch the video, go to thecompletehomecook.com and look for the recipe and get yourself into the kitchen, and I think you'll find that this is the best chicken breast that you'll ever have had. Here's the secret. Properly executed technique create rich foundational flavors and marvelous textures. The herbs and spices that we use only highlight this foundation. We're going to prepare today's recipe in two stages. First, we're going to saute the chicken breast, which is delicious in its own right. Secondly, we're going to deglaze the pan and prepare what is referred to as a small sauce, which is one of the most flavorful things of all of cooking. The small sauce is going to elevate this relatively simple preparation to the level of fine dining. You can serve this to company with pride. Here's a bit of fun regarding the term sauté. For our purposes, sautéing is to sear food in a relatively hot pan in a scant amount of oil. The word sauté comes from the French word sauter, which means to jump. The French technique of sautéing is to cut food into small bits and then sear it in a small amount of oil, tossing the pan, thus to jump. The food is then finished in a liquid. Our technique is actually pan frying, but somewhere along the way, everybody decided that sautéing sounds a lot more elegant than pan frying. The sauté is the workhorse of the modern kitchen. It's versatile. You can use it for tender cuts of meats, poultry, it's excellent for fish, and it's completely appropriate for vegetables. That's quite a range for a single cooking technique. Also, sautéing produces rich flavors as the surface of the food browns in what is described as the Maillard reaction. This is the combination first described by Louis-Camille Maillard in the year 1912, and it refers to the combination of amino acids and sugars as they brown in relatively high heat. We'll be returning to this process again and again as our series progresses, because the Maillard process produces some of the most powerful flavors in all of cooking. Another compelling reason to sauté is speed. Sautéing transmits heat through conduction. The surface of the food is actually in contact with the pan, with the oil acting as a conduit. Because we use relatively thin cuts, cooking happens very quickly. So sautéing is the ideal technique for getting a meal on the table after a fast-paced day. Success with any technique depends on three things. You have to have the right ingredients, you have to have the right equipment, and you must execute the technique properly. First, two ingredients. Sautéing requires tender, thin cuts of protein. Because the technique is so fast, it is not going to tenderize some of the tougher cuts of meat. Secondly is equipment. These are omelet pans. The most useful ones are 10 and 12 inch. One is stainless steel with a heavy bottom, and the other is a heavy aluminum nonstick pan. I use the nonstick for fish and starches like potatoes and squashes. For just about everything else, I use stainless. Stainless browns better than nonstick. And the development of the brown surface on both the food and the pan is a tremendous boost of flavor to the final preparation. You might be afraid of your food sticking in the pan. Here's the secret. When you've heated the pan and then heated the oil, when you first add the food, in this case protein, to the pan, it will initially grip the pan. But left undisturbed for a few minutes, it will release itself. It's kind of a minor cooking miracle. Here are the steps necessary to successfully saute. Dry the food, season the food, hot pan, hot oil, presentation side down first, turn only once. If necessary, finish in a hot oven, 350 degrees, for about 10 minutes while you, optionally, deglaze the pan. With all of that said, let's look at our ingredients today, and then let's start cooking.
It's perfect. It's moist, it's tender, just as the chicken breast is supposed to be. The thyme flavor perfectly enhances the basic chicken flavor. It's exceptional food. Okay, here's your assignment. As I said in the beginning, watch the video,
go to thecompletehomecook.com, find the recipe, get into the kitchen, and prepare this wonderful thyme scented chicken breast. I guarantee you, you'll be stunned at how delicious it is. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and for goodness sakes, leave some comments. I enjoy the interaction. I'll answer as many of the comments as I can. Without that interaction, I'm just a guy alone in the kitchen talking to a camera. So I'll see you next time. Meanwhile, get into the kitchen and cook something.